Hi everybody, welcome to Seeds.
Welcome to Seeds. This is Christine.
And this is Tracy.
And we have a special guest here today. His name is Johnny Williams. And we're very, very, very excited and honored and pleased to have Johnny here with us today. Johnny is someone that both Tracy and I have come to know over the past couple of years. And he's been very, very significant in my life. As a friend, and particularly what he's been going through in his life. We thought that we would ask him to come and join us today as we were speaking about in the last segment about love and particularly about truth and how transformative truth is in our lives when we finally accept it and recognize it and embrace it into our lives. And I'm very, very, very pleased to have Johnny here because in his walk, he's most recently begun to understand the power of the truth in his own life. And we'd like to talk to Johnny about this and just sort of get his take as to who he, I don't know if I want to say who he was, because I think we are always who we are at all times, but more a little bit about his journey in inviting the truth and into his walk in his life. So Johnny, thank you very much for being here. We're very, very excited. You're very welcome. So so where do we begin? I mean, where do we begin?
Where do we leave off?
Well, we left off really in just talking about how the truth sets us free. Maybe that's a great way to kind of start this off. And everyone knows the saying, how the truth sets you free. I mean, I heard that from the time I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I think in principle and in theory, we can all understand that every single one of us have probably said that at some point in our lives. I think where it becomes so significant is when when our eyes are really open to understand the power
Of the truth.
of the truth and the truth of those words. So maybe we'll start off with you, Johnny. Maybe you can help us to lead the conversation just as it relates to your walk, because you're a very interesting person. You have led a very, very, very interesting and, for lack of a better word, colorful life. And maybe we'll have you start it off, or if you don't mind, to start it off for us.
Well, what I understand about the truth, I guess, basically, as you said, set us free. And I was basically living my life on being a lot of misconcept about the truth, and now that I basically understand what the truth does for you, it gives me a better walk in my life.
So now that, okay, so, and that's a big thing, now that you understand. Tell me what it is that you didn't understand. How were you leading, maybe we can start there if you don't mind. How were you leading your life before, let's say, before you began to understand the power of this truth? What did your life look like before? What was going on within you? And
my life before is based on, I would say, maybe a lot of lies, living in fear.
Living in fear.
Of telling the truth. Because I figure more or less, if you tell the truth, you may hurt the person that you're even with.
And that's what we were talking about a lot with that. So would it be safe to say that you relied on lies in relationships, let's say, more than the truth overall before?
I would say yes.
You'd say yes.
I would say yes. What the mind and the people don't know is that the more lies you may use to cover things, cover information, it almost makes things a lot easier to move on with your life, basically.
Like the lies created, like the lies made life easier for you?
It's easier for you.
What, in the present, like to continue in the present situation?
In the present of the same situation.
So to maintain.
Because it didn't rock the boat. It just kept everything.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
So I would say, based on what I've learned now, if you do tell the truth, it will give that freedom to you or either your partner to basically move on even forward, or even if you don't even end up with them after that.
Okay, so you showed the contrast there, and I'm great. But I want to stick. I want to for the first part, if you don't mind, I want to talk more about, because I'm sure there's a lot of, not just men, but I'm going to say men. There's a lot of men and a lot of women out there who lived that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be able to identify with what you're saying. So tell us more. You talked about fear. Okay, you talked about fear. And what was some of the fears that you had? And I don't mean necessarily both. I want to talk about the fears of what you maybe felt you might lose, but also your own internal fears.
The internal fears is about security. Like, you want to secure yourself for you, not yourself to either get hurt. So it have a lot to do with trust as well. And probably that too based on what happened in the past before in your life. Mm-hmm. And you want to basically protect yourself for you not getting hurt.
Emotionally hurt?
Emotionally hurt. So you protect yourself in terms of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. For example, if you have a partner and you want to have a relationship on the other side, it's based on not letting her find out. So you could basically protect yourself because you don't know what she's out there doing.
Okay. And that's what she's out there doing, I understand.
And that have a lot to do with trust as well.
Okay, but when you say what she's out there doing...
Well, you don't know, so you basically assume that she's...
You're making an assumption that she's doing something, so you're doing what you're doing to protect yourself.
Okay.
Right? Okay, that's... Yeah, I didn't... Yeah, that's what I wanted to understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Would you... I know you today. Mm-hmm. And I've had the privilege of having a pretty close front row sort of seat into your journey. Mm-hmm. And your journey certainly hasn't ended. Your journey is going to continue throughout the rest of your life. And what I see today is a man who is very, very confident. You love yourself in a way that I don't think you ever did before. And what I'd like to speak to right now is, I guess, what it was like before when you didn't maybe love yourself in the way that you do. What did that feel like for you? What was life like for Johnny? When Johnny looked in the mirror, what was he seeing and what was he valuing then? Like, can you speak about that?
Well, before where I come now, in terms of recognizing about feelings towards even love, right? Before, in terms of relationship, which we always know what we always talk about relationship, the fear of basically having a partner that you could basically rely on in terms of the deception of telling the truth about what you're doing. Now it's actually made life a whole lot easier for me in terms of what I used to do before. Okay. If I used to live the double life, it makes it a whole lot easier because I don't have to lie no more. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely.
So it basically set me free in that sense.
It would set you free.
It set you free in that sense.
It set me free in that sense. So I don't feel that burden.
And it didn't go without, it wasn't without its pain though at the same time. You did have to walk.
Yeah. Like I would get up and wondering what am I going to tell somebody else what I'm doing the next day. Mm-hmm. Right? Now I don't even have to do that because I could do whatever I want because I don't have nothing to basically hide anymore.
So this was a lifestyle for you. Is that fair?
It was a lifestyle. It was a lifestyle. I feel comfortably in a situation that I feel secure. Uh-huh. I feel secure that, you know, I have someone there. If things don't work out on the other end, I could always run to the next one.
Did you I mean, it sounds so, I know it's not as easy as this, but it sounds like because it's a lifestyle, it just seems like you live it, you breathe it, you go through it. But did you deal with guilt on any levels throughout that? Did you deal with, what was your conscience telling you?
There was a lot of guilt, but as I said, if the person don't know, then it shouldn't be hurt. You believe that it wouldn't hurt them.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that today? That same, if the person does what they don't know.
It actually hurts you more within yourself to know that you're hurting someone.
Exactly.
So would you say that your conscience has been
Your conscience
opened up?
Well, I would say that yes, because I recognize that it's actually hurting yourself because of all the time and the effort that you're putting in.
Is that not the truth?
Yeah, it's the time and the effort that you're putting in to cover all these lies, and then it may fall back on you.
Speak about conscience a little bit more for back then. Because I imagine if your conscience has been opened up now, and if therefore it wasn't then the guilt, I'm still focusing on guilt. Maybe were you not really experiencing as much guilt, or have you only recently been experiencing guilt now that your eyes have been open to this?
Well, my eyes have been open basically recently, and the guilt wasn't really there because of the security.
Okay.
The security in the sense that you want to protect your own self,
Okay.
right? And we do things basically, well, I would say, I used to do things based on my security.
And that justified.
So that was more. So your security was more important than.
Yeah, let's get honest here.
Yeah, your
It
security.
was basically more important
Was it more
than,
your?
other,
Was it?
than my partner.
It was more important. That's what I want to know.
It was more important than my partner
Okay,
feelings.
that's what I want.
Because I'm protecting myself.
Right.
I'm working for myself to make sure that I'm in the right place
Yes.
at the right time.
So it was a very self-serving
It was basically self-serving.
way of living.
Okay.
Self-serving.
And now that you see it that way, from a different vantage point. So you're on a, let's suppose you climbed a mountain, let's say, right? And you're standing now on the top of a mountain, looking back at your life, looking back at how you were living your life. And now that you're there, how do you feel about, let's say, the old Johnny now? How do you feel about?
I would say that he was trapped. He was trapped because,
Was he lost?
I would say probably lost.
Is that an accurate word, lost? Yeah.
Yeah. I would say lost because he didn't have the freedom. And the freedom that you're basically looking for is that you could be free and don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder.
You can be free to make and create your life, shape it and fashion it in the way of your choosing, right? Would that be?
Well, you could do that, right? But that's, if you're shaping your life around lies, right? Then you're not really comfortable.
No.
You're not really comfortable at all. So
Because you're always trying to keep up with your life.
you're always trying to cover
Right.
your grounds.
Right.
That's a lot of energy. You must have spent. You must have been a tired man. Would
Well,
you
you
say
are tired because I
like-
mean you don't get as much sleep because all these things on your conscience behind your head. You're like wondering what you're going to do the next day,
Right.
right? What excuse you're going to bring up for the next day.
And it's funny because all you've been talking, well, I shouldn't say, but what you've been focusing on or what you've been telling us is it was about your security. So if your security became the most important thing, even over what you were doing to maybe somebody else and everything, it must have been you must have been a very insecure man, because at any time the card's going to come crumbling down. If the truth came out, you're here maintaining this security post, but yet you must have been insecure. This is my assessment of it.
Well, I wouldn't even use the term insecure. I wouldn't use this term insecure. I would say based on protection, right? And again, you're not worrying about the other person's feelings. And if you have someone else on the side, right, you're going to feel that you're always secure. You're going to feel that you're always secure because,
Okay.
right? So you basically do things, and if the truth does come out,
Then you always have somewhere to go.
you always have somewhere to go,
land.
right?
Right.
But
Okay.
not to say that that was fair, but
But that was.
if
But you
you're
were
living,
exalted.
if you're living
Yeah.
that kind of lifestyle,
Right.
then you're basically happy within yourself that
So it's kind of like, as long as I'm good, that's
Everything
what
else is
matters.
okay.
And you
right
know what,
now.
Johnny?
Yeah.
I have to commend you, and thank you first of all for being as honest with that, because really, it's really hard to come on somewhere where, again, you don't know how many people or who's going to be seeing this, and for you to come on and say, really and truly, I mean, I was very selfish person.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people could do that, and I think the only reason that you're able to do that, I don't think you would have admitted that during that walk of your life, during that leg of your life. But I do believe that with the truth also comes a level of confidence, a level of truth, and a level of understanding, a level of knowing, a level of maybe regret to some degree, but also happiness and freedom to be able to say who you are, what you were, and therefore you're proud of the growth that you've that you've traveled, right? So I do want to thank you so much, because I think, the honesty, I think,
I think it will also give a lot of people courage out there to actually come forward and realize that even though you do go through the saying truth hurts, it does, but it also brings freedom with it.
It does.
So it's a pattern that you have to walk, and it's a path you have to walk. And you're living proof.
It's a lot of freedom, because like I said, you don't have to watch over your shoulder.
Yep.
You don't have to wake up living in fear of wondering who's going to find out, how are they going to feel. You feel a whole lot more comfortable knowing where you're going and what you're about to do.
Absolutely, because all the cards are on the table, so there's nothing to hide anymore. There's no need to hide.
Okay. So we talked about your past. We talked about how that was. And so today, who is Johnny Williams today?
I would classify myself as being a free man.
Okay.
I feel a whole lot freer. I feel I have more confidence within myself to basically go forward in my life and make my life work out better for me.
Good. I'm personally very, very, very happy that you found that.
I would probably say personally, before, what I was thinking in terms of my lifestyle before, I would say, based on most of the deception that I've made in my life, was based on, again, security.
Yes.
Right? Maybe now
I was gonna say, now that the truth has set you
now
free.
that the truth is there, right? It just take off a weight off your shoulder.
There's no more having to
So you've now accepted the truth. You've taken it in, because I don't want it to be like the truth is something that's here that you now just grab. Like, how does the truth factor into your being? Is it something that continues to grow in you? Is it something that you're continually looking for or aligning yourself with?
I actually like feeling that weight being off your shoulder, that you don't have to look over your shoulder, wondering that you're going to have to make up another lie. So you basically, it make your body feel basically cleansed, if you want to put it that way.
So what's interesting is you're now talking about, first, that's a spiritual change, and how it's even affecting your body. I mean, that, they talk about mind, body, spirit. So that's even having positive,
effects on other aspects of your life.
Of your being,
Which is an excellent way to live.
It basically opening you up and just setting you free.
And now, so from this point forward, who you are today, is it your mission now to remain on this road?
It's a good mission to be at. And I'm more confident.
Like, is it a daily struggle?
Like, could you see yourself going back?
Is it a daily struggle?
See yourself going back to the...
Or can you bring yourself back up?
To tell the honest truth, going back, it's not really an option that I'm actually looking for.
Beautiful.
And, I mean, who really want to live like that?
Right.
Who really want to live like that? I mean, as my mother used to say, I mean, it better take time knowing one person and make use of that person by frying chicken, baking the chicken, roasting the chicken.
Okay, now I feel like you're objectifying women to be.
No, not a chicken, but you know what I mean.
Just an example.
Right? So it better take your time knowing that one person. If thing doesn't work out down the road, you could actually even try and
But
talk
then
about
again,
this
sometimes someone else might come into your life that might
change all of that.
Exactly.
So we're back.
Hi, we're back, and we're going to I want to ask you about, we were talking previously about having a few partners out there, but what happens when you fall in love with two or two or more people?
It makes it basically very confusing. Very confusing, because you don't know where to go, you don't know where to choose. It's based on the security of what the other partner have to offer. And based on that security, you want to know if you're making the right decision. It may be like a weight. It probably bring back a weight because you don't know if you're going to say, you know what, should I tell the partner that you're with before about what you're feeling about someone else?
Right.
It really ties nicely into.
So you basically has to maybe try to hide it
For a while.
because you're wondering how she's going to feel. Is she going to get up and walk away from you because you're in love with someone else? Or you just keep it to yourself and see how far you can get with it. Right? Now, where I've come, I probably would have tell her to make life a whole lot easier on me, and then we move forward or see if we could work it out.
Right. You see why this was so important, why I wanted to get your perspective, because we had ours from the last episode, but I wanted to hear your perspective of, because I know it's a difficult decision to make that choice to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get a perspective from you of how difficult it was. Like, if I'm delving too deep, let me know.
No, go
but
ahead.
did you eventually tell her the truth? Or sorry, first of all, first question: have you fallen in love with two people? Have you ever been in that position?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
And how did you handle that?
Based on fear, again. Based on fear, again. You see, when you know your partner a certain way, you try your best to protect your feelings.
Absolutely.
You protect their feelings because you don't know what the reaction might end up being. So, as I said, if you don't know, which is not true, again, if you don't know, it's not going to hurt you, right? And even if you know within yourself that you're not hurting your partner by not the partner not knowing, you're basically hurting yourself because you're still living in that life.
And that
yes.
and here's the thing.
Thank
Remember in the other segment, Trace,
Yeah.
you made a really good point that at the end of the day, you know your partner.
Right.
And we both came around to understanding that as much as we know our partner, at the end of the day, especially when we recognize the truth and the power and the freedom that the truth brings you, at the end of the day, we are constantly defining who we are.
Yes.
So while your partner and all of those things and everybody else does matter, and they're very, very important, at the end of the day, you have to be able to live with yourself. Because that partner may be long gone, and you may have other partners and other relationships. You're at this moment in time, but you know, when we were 10 years old, that was now.
Yeah.
When we were 20, that was now. Right now, when we're where we are now, this is now. And guess what? 10 years from now, that's going to be now.
Yeah.
So the question now becomes, who are we deciding we are going to be, especially when we get that opportunity to live truthfully? Right now, we're dealing with the existing relationships that we have, and we're trying to figure out how does now the truth that I've now found get factored into what I'm currently dealing with.
And as I said again, I mean, it all depends on how you know your partner.
Yes.
If you know your partner could handle what you have to express to them in terms of how you feel about someone else, it will make it a whole lot easier for you to relate to them. So, if, for example, you're dating two people that you genuinely have feelings for, you may want to cover it up basically until it unfolds itself.
Okay.
In terms of, you know what, if I'm going to live my life a certain way, I'm going to basically keep everything on the secret until I feel comfortable enough to let her know what happened. Even if it come out before it actually happened, then it will make it a whole lot easier for me in myself to explain why I didn't come out and tell you. And then based on the moment of how all that unfold, then it may or may not build that courage within them because you know them. Well, you could know them or assume that you know them enough to express yourself to them why you do the things that you did.
Right. Now,
go ahead, Trace.
oh, sorry. Did you find that in that situation when you were keeping it quiet, did it make things more difficult for you in the sense of having to hold on to those secrets?
Well,
or do you feel that... sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. But I just wanted to ask you, first of all, when you were in this position, the person that you were with, technically, that everyone knew about, were you able to tell her the truth?
No, I haven't.
Okay, okay.
And
because the next question I had, well, that's why I needed to know that.
No, I haven't told her the truth, and as I said, it's because of know their reaction. You assume their reaction, right? Yeah. When you could tell the other partner, the other person that you're sharing that bond with, you see, from in the beginning, then you would know what the truth was with that other person, right? And if you're going to express yourself to that person, and that other individual know where you're coming from, then you could talk everything out with that person. But when you assume that you know the other one that you're with, it makes it difficult to exchange how you feel of the situation.
So I have to ask this, because I have to ask this. In terms of how you were living your life before, the other women that you would be involved with, or whatever, or even the if there was two or whatever that you fell in love with, were they aware? Did you? I mean, there's different types of players. Sorry to call you a player, but there's different types of players. There's some players who go out there and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm single, and you're my girlfriend, and you know this is whatever." And then there's other ones who go out and say, "Listen, I've got a wife or I've got a partner, and you know I'd like to have you on the side if you're okay with that." What was your MO in that whole thing?
My MO, as if I was a player.
No, but let's get real. Were you a player?
I don't really consider myself a player. I think I would say the person that secure people's heart. I mean, there's a...
No, you were Casanova or...
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
There was a... You see, based on the player perspective, I would say the man that basically go out and tell the girl, right, about you have someone and you'd like to get to know you. I don't think that person actually care about the person that he actually meet.
That brings up a very good point.
As much. If you do meet someone and you build a connection with them, right?
Are you telling them you're single? Are you telling them you're with someone?
How could you be, if you're single, you could, if you say that you're single, which it is a lie, if you have someone, if you say that you're single, it's based because you know within yourself that you want that person for yourself, right? You want that person for yourself, so you're going to tell them that you're single.
So you're going to...
Which you're going into a relationship of being untruth.
Right. So that's how you operated.
That was basically my operation in terms of meeting someone. So you did a lot
of balancing in order to...
I did.
Yeah.
Now, how do I keep that? I secure myself, as in showing that individual that I have all the time in the world to give to them. And it does take up a lot of time for you to share with that person on the outside to make sure that they're not saying, you know what, you must have someone else, why you can't give them as much time.
How effective were you in being able to do that? Would you say you were very...
I was pretty good. Has
there ever been a time that you did come straight up to one of them women? If you ever did come and tell them that you have somebody?
I only come straight up when I get caught.
Okay. So when you'd see a girl you like, was there ever a time that they had any idea that you were with somebody?
They may have an idea, but I didn't give them the reason to.
Okay, so yeah. No, the reason why I wanted to bring that up because I also wanted to show the other side of this, that sometimes there are women that might know and don't care. And so that's why I'm trying to decipher the part.
Well, it's interesting because here's the thing, is that okay, so to what you just said, that you give them the impression that you have all the time for them. So therefore you're investing a lot of time.
A lot of time.
So then what's happening to your existing?
Exactly.
If all of your time is being there, how has it felt with that woman?
You find basically all the excuse why you can't
Why
be
you're not
there
there.
and why you're not there. So again, a lot of lies. But the lies basically cover up all the grounds, right? And as
But
I
eventually
said,
it will crush
but
you.
And
until
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds like it did.
when you get caught again, you find the excuse and the reason why you didn't feel comfortable in the relationship that you're in.
Okay, sorry. So now that you've been on both sides of the fence, where you were lying and continuing in your lies and trying to balance all these objects or whatever, and then now you've walked onto this side where you are in complete truth.
How would you do it different?
How would you have done it differently? And do you find that,
I
do you feel like that all that other stuff that you were doing now?
I would probably do it the way of the other player. Of the other player.
How?
The other
So
player.
you would-
The other player is the man that basically go out and said, "Listen, I have a woman. I see you. I like you." That woman doesn't get as much time from this man.
So you still want to be able to have more than one woman in your life?
No. It's not that I want.
But that's what it sounds
no,
like.
I know
That
it can
sounds
sound
like
like
you-
that. No. You see, if I'm
mean you
in
would
that
have-
spot, if I'm in that spot,
Not in the spot. What spot are you in today?
okay. If no, I'm just giving you a
Yeah,
simple
okay, yeah.
example.
Okay.
If I'm in that spot that I fall in love with someone else,
Okay, and
Right?
that can happen again,
if
right?
I fall in love with someone else,
Yeah.
as I said, I would do as the other guy would approach the lady and say,
Okay, I see.
Okay, but what about now? Okay, but now here's the real thing. That's fine that you would flip it that way, and that speaks to some growth in terms of you want to be honest on that end.
Yeah.
How does that look now to the woman that you're with? Do you go to her and say, "There's somebody that I met"? Could you see? Are you at that point on this journey of truth where you could now also go to the existing woman and say, "Honey,"
I met
and as
somebody.
I said,
Yeah.
as I said before, it's based on how the person can react to what you have to tell them.
so you're
So you would
So
only let that information out if you feel that she would receive it a certain way.
correct.
what does that
correct.
do to you in your conscience again? Because does this not create
It
another
does,
cycle?
it does bother your conscience a lot because you feel that you can't open up yourself to that individual.
Okay. Here is what I would like to hope for you, my friend. That you've learned to love the truth. You've embraced it into your life. But that you begin to love the truth more than anything else in this world. That you love the truth more than any relationship that you have. You love the freedom that the truth has brought to you and has begun to show you and demonstrate already in your life.
Yep.
That you would not give that up for anything. So that if even you find yourself, if you're in a relationship now and that's your relationship and you're focusing on that relationship and for some reason love finds you elsewhere, that you would not allow yourself to deny yourself, not deny her the truth, but that you don't deny yourself the freedom. Because now what you're doing is you would be signing up for bondage again of lies.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I see that. I see that.
You see that,
Yeah.
right?
And as I said, it's a whole lot of weight off your shoulder when you do have to go to that level of not telling the truth of how you feel about someone. And at this present time, I'm basically single, and if I should go into a relationship, meeting someone, I mean, right now, with open arms, I'm single, so I do not have to basically lie about who I'm with, what I'm doing. I'm free.
You're free in the sense that you're not in a commitment. What about in your
I think
heart?
it's, yeah, you have to
Are
be
you free
true
in
to
your heart in
yourself
terms
first.
are you free in term? Are you still in love with any women? Are you because again, to meet somebody, I'm not saying, I mean, you meet somebody, like you're just going to meet them. You don't have to bear your whole life story to a stranger that you meet. But are you ready to meet somebody new, do you think, right now in your life?
I don't think I'm ready at all.
You don't think so?
I don't think I'm ready at all. I have never been really single. I have never been single that to basically find myself. And at this stage that where I'm at right now, I feel a whole lot better being single than being locked down at this point, because I'm basically still confused of who I'm in love with. And I'm still searching basically for that love to feel comfortable.
I see. So you mentioned something really vital about finding yourself. Who are you finding now? Who are you? What are you discovering about?
I'm discovering the truth, and
do you like you now?
I like me because I feel free. I feel at ease.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel at
Well,
ease.
and as Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. Because once you're true to yourself, it's easier to be true to others.
Yep.
And I think on that note,
On that note,
I think it's a good...
is there anything else that you wanted to add? Like maybe if there's something that you wanted to say to others who are watching, or to say to the women that you love. Maybe if there's anything that you would like to use this platform for, Johnny, because I thank you so much.
The
I
truth,
think you're
the
gonna help a
truth
lot
shall
of
set
people.
you free, and free you may be. It take off a lot of weight off your shoulder. And if you're entering into a relationship, go with open arms, set yourself free, explain what it is.
Well, I think that's excellent advice. And on this note, I think it's a good time to end our episode of Seeds. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And we especially want to thank Johnny Williams for being so
much,
honest
Johnny.
and open. You're welcome back anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
If there's any other episode that we have that you feel that you can inject some of your wisdom, we'd more than appreciate it.
All right, I'll be here.
Again, to the viewers, we really hope you enjoyed this episode, and if there's any perspective, once again, we always like to close it in inviting you to weigh in on our discussions and on your thoughts. Please feel free to do so. And once again, thank you very much for watching Seeds, and we
We'd
would
like to know what seeds you're going to plant today.